The devil claims that he can influence people's rhythm through music, which he considers one of his most effective tools. He can also manipulate the rhythm of the environment, such as by encouraging a fast-paced, chaotic lifestyle that prevents people from thinking clearly and making good decisions. Hill argues that people can overcome the devil's hypnotic rhythm by consciously choosing their habits and rhythms. He suggests that people should break their existing rhythms by doing something different, such as taking a new route to work or changing their daily routine. This will help them to create new, more positive habits and break free from the devil's control. In conclusion, this chapter emphasizes the importance of being mindful of one's habits and rhythms, and actively choosing to break free from negative patterns of behavior. By doing so, people can take control of their lives and resist the devil's influence. Chapter 8 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled Hypnotic Rhythm. In this chapter, the author explains the concept of rhythm and how it affects our daily lives. Hill defines rhythm as the mysterious force which creates and destroys, builds and tears down, causes birth and death. He goes on to explain that rhythm is present in every aspect of life, from the rise and fall of the tides to the beating of our hearts. The author argues that rhythm is a powerful force that can be harnessed to achieve success. He provides examples of successful people who have used rhythm to their advantage, such as Henry Ford, who used an assembly line to create a rhythmic flow of production. Hill also cautions against negative rhythms, such as the habit of procrastination, which can lead to failure. He emphasizes the importance of recognizing negative rhythms and replacing them with positive ones. The author concludes the chapter by stating that the ability to recognize and control rhythm is a key factor in achieving success in any endeavor. He encourages readers to develop a habit of thinking in terms of rhythm and to use it to their advantage in all aspects of life. Chapter 9 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill focuses on the importance of accurate thinking. Hill argues that accurate thinking is crucial to achieving success and happiness in life. He defines accurate thinking as the ability to separate fact from fiction, and to avoid relying on opinions, hearsay, and assumptions. Hill emphasizes that accurate thinking requires discipline and effort, and that it is often easier to rely on popular opinions and beliefs than to engage in critical thinking. He identifies several factors that can hinder accurate thinking, including fear, prejudice, superstition, and narrow-mindedness. He encourages readers to develop their ability to think independently and to avoid being swayed by popular opinions or by the opinions of others. Hill also stresses the importance of developing a positive mental attitude, which he defines as a state of mind that is free from negative emotions such as fear, doubt, and anger. He argues that a positive mental attitude is essential for accurate thinking and for achieving success in life. Finally, Hill provides practical advice for developing accurate thinking and a positive mental attitude, such as setting clear goals, seeking out new experiences, and cultivating a sense of gratitude. He encourages readers to practice these habits consistently and to avoid being swayed by negative influences. Chapter 10 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled Hypnotic Rhythm and focuses on the power of routine and habit. Hill argues that our thoughts and actions are largely dictated by the routines and habits we have formed, and that by consciously controlling and directing these routines, we can achieve our goals and desires. Hill introduces the concept of a hypnotic rhythm, which he defines as a pattern of thought or behavior that has become so ingrained in us that we follow it automatically, without thinking about it. He argues that this hypnotic rhythm can either work for us or against us, depending on whether or not it is leading us towards our goals. To illustrate the power of hypnotic rhythm, Hill gives the example of a successful businessman who has a daily routine that includes waking up early, exercising, reading the newspaper, and reviewing his goals for the day. This routine has become so ingrained in him that he follows it without fail, and it has contributed to his success. On the other hand, Hill gives the example of a man who has a habit of procrastinating and putting things off. This habit has become so automatic that he no longer thinks about it, but it is holding him back from achieving his goals. Hill argues that the key to success is to consciously create and control our hypnotic rhythms by forming habits and routines that lead us towards our goals. He emphasizes the importance of setting clear goals and of regularly reviewing and adjusting our routines to ensure that they are leading us towards those goals. Overall, Chapter 10 emphasizes the importance of habit and routine in achieving success, and encourages readers to take control of their routines and habits in order to achieve their goals. Chapter 11 of the book, Outwitting the Devil, by Napoleon Hill, is titled, Hypnotic Rhythm. In this chapter, Hill explores the concept of how people can become trapped in negative patterns and habits, and how those patterns can become a hypnotic rhythm that can be difficult to break. Hill explains that people are often unaware of the habits and patterns that control their lives. These patterns can be caused by a variety of factors, including childhood experiences, social conditioning, and personal beliefs. Once established, these patterns can become so deeply ingrained that they become difficult to break. Hill argues that one of the key ways to break these negative patterns is to become more aware of them. He suggests that people can do this by regularly examining their thoughts and actions, and by consciously choosing to do things differently. He also suggests that people can use positive affirmations and visualization to help break negative patterns and establish new ones. In addition, Hill discusses the importance of controlling one's emotions in order to avoid becoming trapped in negative patterns. He explains that emotions can be powerful motivators, but they can also be dangerous if not properly controlled. He encourages readers to cultivate a sense of calm and rationality, and to avoid becoming overly emotional in response to negative experiences. Overall, Chapter 11 emphasizes the importance of awareness and self-control in breaking negative patterns and establishing positive ones. Hill's advice is practical and actionable, and his emphasis on the importance of personal responsibility is a central theme throughout the book. Chapter 12 of Outwitting the Devil, by Napoleon Hill, is titled Hypnotic Rhythm. In this chapter, Hill describes the importance of having a definite purpose and a plan for achieving that purpose, and how one's thoughts can either aid or hinder the achievement of that purpose. Hill explains that people are like radio stations, broadcasting thoughts and emotions to the universe. If their thoughts and emotions are in harmony with their definite purpose, they will attract the people, resources, and opportunities they need to achieve that purpose. However, if their thoughts and emotions are not in harmony with their purpose, they will attract failure, frustration, and disappointment. Hill emphasizes the importance of having a positive mental attitude, as it is the foundation for success. He also discusses the power of autosuggestion, which is the process of influencing one's own subconscious mind with positive affirmations and visualizations. In addition, Hill warns of the danger of falling into hypnotic rhythms, which are negative thought patterns that become ingrained in the subconscious mind and can lead to self-sabotage. He advises the reader to be vigilant and to interrupt negative thought patterns with positive affirmations. Overall, the chapter stresses the importance of being intentional with one's thoughts and emotions, and the role they play in achieving success. Chapter 13 of Outwitting the Devil, by Napoleon Hill, is titled Hypnotic Rhythm. In this chapter, Hill discusses how people can become trapped in a negative rhythm that leads to failure and unhappiness. He describes how people can get stuck in this negative cycle, and how they can break free from it. According to Hill, a hypnotic rhythm is a habit that is repeated so often that it becomes automatic. This can be a positive or negative habit, but in the case of a negative habit, it can lead to failure and unhappiness. The negative rhythm can be caused by fear, worry, and negative thinking. Hill provides an example of a negative hypnotic rhythm in the form of a man who worries constantly about his job and his finances. This constant worry creates a negative cycle that leads to more worry and more negative thinking, ultimately resulting in failure. To break free from a negative hypnotic rhythm, Hill recommends changing one's thought patterns and focusing on positive thinking. He advises readers to create a positive mental attitude and to focus on their goals and dreams, rather than their fears and worries. Hill also stresses the importance of taking action towards one's goals, and not just thinking about them. Overall, The chapter emphasizes the importance of breaking free from negative habits and patterns of thinking, and instead focusing on positive thinking and action. Chapter 14 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled The Controlled Mind. In this chapter, Hill discusses the importance of controlling one's mind and the dangers of leaving one's mind open to outside influences. Hill argues that the majority of people have uncontrolled minds, which leads to negative thoughts, self-doubt, and the inability to achieve their goals. He suggests that to achieve success, one must learn to control their thoughts and emotions and develop a positive mental attitude. Hill also warns against the dangers of allowing outside influences, such as negative people or the media, to control one's mind. He believes that people should be careful about what they allow into their minds and should only surround themselves with positive influences. Furthermore, Hill explains that the mind is like a garden that requires cultivation and nurturing to produce positive results. He emphasizes the importance of developing good habits and eliminating bad habits to achieve success. In conclusion, Chapter 14 of Outwitting the Devil highlights the importance of controlling one's mind and the dangers of leaving one's mind open to outside influences. Hill suggests that by developing a positive mental attitude, eliminating negative influences, and nurturing one's mind like a garden, one can achieve success in any area of life. A video about summarizing the book, Outwitting the Devil, would likely discuss the key themes and ideas presented in the book, as well as the author's main arguments and insights. The video may provide a brief overview of the book's plot and characters, but its primary focus would be on the lessons and takeaways that readers can apply to their own lives. The video may explore the book's central premise that success and happiness require a strong sense of personal purpose and a willingness to resist the distractions and negative influences that can prevent us from achieving our goals. It may also delve into the author's ideas about the role of fear, procrastination, and conformity in limiting our potential and preventing us from realizing our dreams. Throughout the video, the presenter may provide examples and anecdotes from the book to illustrate the author's points and help viewers better understand the concepts being discussed. They may also offer their own insights and commentary on the book's themes, and suggest ways that viewers can apply the lessons of Outwitting the Devil to their own lives. Overall, a video summarizing Outwitting the Devil would be an engaging and informative resource for anyone looking to learn more about this thought-provoking book and its powerful message. In Chapter 1 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, the author describes his encounter with the devil during a period of reflection. In his life, the devil is portrayed as a personification of fear, procrastination, and negative thoughts that hold individuals back from realizing their full potential. Hill argues that the devil is the root of human misery and prevents people from achieving their goals and living a fulfilling life. He explains that the devil uses fear as a tool to control people and keep them from taking risks and pursuing their dreams. By convincing individuals to settle for mediocrity and to stay in their comfort zones, the devil ensures that they will never reach their full potential. The chapter ends with Hill revealing that he was able to outwit the devil by refusing to give in to fear and by taking action towards his goals. He encourages readers to do the same by facing their fears and taking risks in order to achieve success and happiness. Chapter 2 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled The Devil's Tool of Fear. In this chapter, the author continues his dialogue with the devil and discusses the concept of fear. The devil tells Hill that fear is one of his most powerful tools for controlling people's minds. He explains that fear can be created in many ways, such as through the threat of poverty, ill health, or the loss of loved ones. The devil claims that fear is a powerful emotion that can overwhelm people and cause them to make irrational decisions. Hill responds by arguing that fear can also be a motivating force for people. He points out that fear can drive people to take action to protect themselves and their loved ones. The devil concedes this point but warns that fear can also paralyze people and prevent them from taking action. Hill then asks the devil how people can overcome their fears. The devil replies that people can overcome their fears by developing faith, courage, and self-confidence. He claims that these qualities are the antidote to fear and can help people to take control of their lives. Hill challenges the devil's assertion by arguing that faith, courage, and self-confidence are not innate qualities but can be developed through practice and repetition. The devil agrees with this point but warns that people must be careful not to become overconfident, as this can lead to arrogance and a lack of caution. In conclusion, this chapter of Outwitting the Devil explores the concept of fear and its power to control people's minds. The author and the devil have discussed the role of fear in people's lives and how it can be overcome through the development of faith, courage, and self-confidence. The chapter emphasizes the importance of balancing confidence with caution to avoid becoming overly confident and making reckless decisions. Chapter 3 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled Hypnotic Rhythm. In this chapter, Hill explains how habits can be both beneficial and detrimental to one's success, depending on whether they are good or bad habits. He argues that habits are formed through the process of hypnotic rhythm, which is essentially the repetition of certain thoughts or actions until they become automatic. Hill stresses the importance of developing good habits that will lead to success and happiness, such as the habit of setting and achieving goals, taking initiative, and persistence. He also warns against the dangers of bad habits, which can lead to failure and misery, such as procrastination, indecision, and laziness. To break bad habits and develop good ones, Hill suggests using the power of hypnotic rhythm to our advantage. This involves consciously choosing the thoughts and actions that we repeat on a regular basis, and consistently reinforcing those that lead to our desired outcomes. By doing so, we can create positive habits that will help us achieve our goals and overcome any obstacles that stand in our way. Overall, Chapter 3 emphasizes the importance of self-discipline and the role of habits in shaping our lives. Hill provides practical advice on how to use hypnotic rhythm to our advantage and create the habits that will lead to success and fulfillment. Chapter 4 of Outwitting the Devil is titled Hypnotic Rhythm and focuses on the power of habits and routines in shaping our lives. The author, Napoleon Hill, describes how habits are formed through repetition and become so deeply ingrained in our subconscious that we often don't even realize we're engaging in them. Hill argues that many people fall into the trap of living their lives on autopilot, going through the motions of their daily routines without really thinking about why they do what they do. He suggests that in order to break free from this cycle, we must become aware of our habits and consciously choose which ones we want to keep and which ones we want to discard. Hill also discusses the concept of hypnotic rhythm, which refers to the tendency for people to fall into a pattern of behavior and thinking that is in line with those around them. He warns that if we are not careful, we can become trapped in this rhythm and lose our individuality and creativity. To avoid falling into a hypnotic rhythm, Hill suggests that we consciously choose our associations and surround ourselves with people who encourage and support our goals and aspirations. He also emphasizes the importance of taking action and making decisions for ourselves rather than simply following the crowd. Overall, Chapter 4 of Outwitting the Devil highlights the importance of mindfulness and intentional living. By becoming aware of our habits and breaking free from hypnotic rhythms, we can take control of our lives and achieve our full potential. Chapter 5 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled Hypnotic Rhythm and discusses the importance of having a definite purpose and a plan for achieving it. Hill argues that having a purpose and plan gives individuals a sense of direction and helps them stay focused on achieving their goals. Hill suggests that individuals who lack a definite purpose and plan are easily distracted and controlled by outside forces. He uses the metaphor of a ship without a rudder, which is tossed about by the waves and winds of the sea, to illustrate this idea. Without a definite purpose and plan, individuals are like the ship without a rudder, and their lives are at the mercy of outside forces. Hill also discusses the concept of hypnotic rhythm, which refers to the power of repetition and habit in shaping an individual's thoughts and actions. He argues that individuals who cultivate positive habits and repeat them consistently over time can develop a hypnotic rhythm that will help them achieve their goals more easily. Conversely, individuals who cultivate negative habits and repeat them consistently over time will develop a hypnotic rhythm that will hold them back from achieving their goals. To develop a hypnotic rhythm that supports success, Hill suggests that individuals should have a positive mental attitude, cultivate a spirit of harmony, and develop the habit of self-discipline. He also emphasizes the importance of avoiding negative influences and cultivating positive relationships with others who share one's goals and values. Overall, Chapter 5 emphasizes the importance of having a definite purpose and plan, cultivating positive habits and a hypnotic rhythm, and avoiding negative influences that can hold individuals back from achieving their goals. Chapter 6 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill focuses on the concept of fear and how it can control our lives. Hill believes that fear is the biggest obstacle that prevents people from achieving their goals and realizing their full potential. He argues that fear can be so powerful that it can paralyze people and prevent them from taking any action. According to Hill, there are 6 basic fears that haunt people: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. He believes that these fears are largely self-created and are based on false assumptions and beliefs. To overcome these fears, Hill recommends developing a strong desire for what you want to achieve, creating a plan of action, and taking bold and persistent action towards your goals. Hill also emphasizes the importance of positive thinking and having a strong faith in oneself. He argues that positive thoughts and beliefs can counteract the negative effects of fear and can help us stay focused and motivated towards our goals. Overall, the chapter serves as a reminder to readers that fear is a common obstacle that everyone faces and that it is possible to overcome it with the right mindset and approach. Chapter 7 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled The Hypnotic Rhythm. This chapter is a continuation of Hill's interview with the devil, where he tries to understand how the devil manipulates human minds. The devil tells Hill that rhythm is one of the most powerful tools he uses to control people. He explains that every living being has a rhythm, a pattern of behavior that becomes habitual over time. This rhythm can be good or bad, depending on the actions it produces. The devil uses hypnotic rhythm to get people to adopt bad habits and continue them until they become destructive. Chapter 15 of The 48 Laws of Power is titled Crush Your Enemy Totally and discusses the importance of not leaving any room for your enemy to retaliate after defeating them. The chapter begins by pointing out that, historically, those who have shown mercy to their defeated enemies have often paid a heavy price in the long run. The author then goes on to suggest that when facing an enemy, one should always aim to completely destroy them. This means not only defeating them in battle, but also eliminating their ability to rise again. The chapter provides several examples of leaders who have followed this approach, including Julius Caesar, who defeated the Gauls by destroying their villages and crops, and then sold the survivors into slavery. The author also advises that one should not underestimate the power of an enemy who has been defeated but not crushed completely. They may still harbor resentment and a desire for revenge, and could become even more dangerous in the future. Therefore, it is better to take the time and effort to completely crush the enemy, even if it means resorting to extreme measures. The chapter concludes with a warning that, while it may be tempting to show mercy and spare the defeated, it is ultimately a dangerous approach that could lead to one's own downfall. Instead, one should focus on completely crushing the enemy, leaving no room for them to recover or retaliate. Chapter 16 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled Hypnotic Rhythm. In this chapter, the author discusses the power of hypnotic rhythm and how it can be used to control one's thoughts and actions. Hypnotic rhythm refers to a repetitive pattern of words, sounds, or actions that can be used to put a person in a trance-like state. The author argues that many people are under the influence of hypnotic rhythm without even realizing it. For example, people may be influenced by the rhythm of popular songs, advertising jingles, or political speeches. The author warns that hypnotic rhythm can be dangerous when used for negative purposes. He notes that many people are under the influence of negative hypnotic rhythm, such as fear, worry, and hatred, which can lead to destructive behavior. However, the author also suggests that hypnotic rhythm can be used for positive purposes, such as self-improvement and personal development. He suggests that individuals can use positive affirmations, meditation, and other techniques to create their own hypnotic rhythm and influence their own thoughts and behavior in a positive way. Overall, The chapter emphasizes the importance of being aware of the hypnotic rhythm around us and taking steps to create a positive hypnotic rhythm in our own lives. Chapter 17 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. In this chapter, Hill delves into the power of sex and how it can be transmuted into other forms of energy, such as creativity, enthusiasm, and drive. Hill argues that sex is one of the most powerful human drives, and that it can either be used for good or evil purposes. He notes that those who are able to transmute the energy of sex into other channels are often more successful and driven than those who do not. To illustrate his point, Hill provides several examples of successful individuals who he believes have used sex transmutation to their advantage, including Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and John D. Rockefeller. He also discusses the importance of self-control when it comes to sexual desires and urges, and emphasizes the need to avoid wasting this powerful energy on frivolous pursuits. Overall, Hill argues that sex transmutation is a key factor in achieving success and reaching one's full potential, and that those who are able to master this skill can achieve great things in life. Chapter 18 of The 48 Laws of Power is titled Do Not Build Fortresses to Protect Yourself, Isolation is Dangerous. The chapter emphasizes the importance of avoiding isolation and building strong alliances. The chapter starts by stating that humans are social animals who thrive in communities, and isolation can have damaging effects on mental and physical health. It then goes on to describe how building a fortress around oneself may seem like a way to protect oneself from harm but can ultimately lead to one's downfall. The author gives examples of historical figures such as Charles V of Spain and Emperor Qianlong of China, despite their vast empires, were ultimately undone by their isolation and lack of strong alliances. The chapter also discusses how those in positions of power often feel the need to distance themselves from others to maintain an air of superiority and mystery, but this can ultimately backfire. The author then goes on to describe how to avoid isolation and build strong alliances. They suggest building a diverse network of friends and allies, being willing to make compromises, and showing genuine interest in others. The chapter also stresses the importance of being aware of the power dynamics at play in any relationship and understanding how to manipulate them to one's advantage. Overall, the chapter highlights the dangers of isolation and emphasizes the importance of building strong social connections and alliances in order to succeed in life and maintain power. Chapter 19 of the book, Outwitting the Devil, by Napoleon Hill is titled The Road to Failure. In this chapter, Hill explores the various ways people can fall into the trap of failure. He begins by stating that failure is not a single event but a process that begins with a negative thought and eventually leads to defeat. He explains that failure is the result of drifting through life without a clear purpose, lack of self-discipline, and a negative mindset. Hill argues that the major cause of failure is the lack of a definite purpose in life. He believes that successful people are those who have a clear and definite purpose and work towards achieving it with a positive mental attitude. On the other hand, unsuccessful people have no clear purpose, and their minds are filled with doubts, fears, and negative thoughts. That he also emphasizes the importance of self-discipline and self-control in achieving success. He suggests that individuals must learn to control their emotions, focus their energies on positive things, and avoid giving in to negative influences. Hill then warns against the dangers of procrastination, which he describes as the thief of time. He advises individuals to take action immediately when they have an idea or plan, rather than postponing it to a later time. Finally, Hill stresses the importance of having a positive mental attitude. He believes that the mind has the power to shape our reality, and a positive mental attitude is crucial in achieving success. He advises individuals to eliminate negative thoughts and replace them with positive affirmations and thoughts. Overall, the chapter emphasizes the importance of having a clear purpose, self-discipline, and a positive mindset in achieving success and avoiding the road to failure. Chapter 20 of The 48 Laws of Power is titled Do Not Commit to Anyone. It explores the danger of committing to a single person or group and becoming reliant on them for your success. The chapter begins by discussing how the desire to belong is a natural human trait, but can often lead to our downfall if we become too reliant on a single person or group. The author explains how this is particularly dangerous in business, where committing to a single partner or customer can limit your options and potentially ruin your business if that person or group turns against you. The chapter goes on to provide examples of historical figures who made this mistake, such as Julius Caesar, who was betrayed by his closest ally, and Napoleon Bonaparte, who was overthrown by his own generals. The author also gives modern-day examples of companies that have suffered because they became too reliant on a single customer or partner. The author then offers strategies for avoiding this trap, such as keeping multiple options open and never becoming too dependent on any one person or group. The chapter ends by warning readers to always be aware of the potential consequences of committing to anyone, and to always have an exit strategy in place. Chapter 21 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill focuses on the concept of drifting. Hill defines drifting as a state of mind where one lacks purpose, goals, and definiteness of purpose. Drifting is a state of mind where an individual goes through life without any clear direction, with no aim or purpose, and no defined plan. Hill emphasizes that drifting is the #1 cause of failure in life, as it keeps people from reaching their full potential. Drifters are easily influenced by the opinions of others, and they lack self-confidence and determination. Hill argues that drifting is a negative habit that can be developed at an early age, and once developed, it is difficult to break. Hill goes on to explain that one can avoid drifting by having a clear purpose and a well-defined plan. This plan must be written down and reviewed regularly to keep one on track. He also stresses the importance of having a positive mental attitude, persistence, and determination to achieve one's goals. Hill suggests that it is essential to surround oneself with positive people who will provide support and encouragement on the journey towards achieving one's goals. He also suggests that one should avoid negative influences that can distract from the path toward success. Overall, Chapter 21 emphasizes the importance of having a definite purpose in life and avoiding the negative habit of drifting, which can keep one from realizing their full potential. Hill encourages readers to take charge of their lives, develop a clear plan, and take persistent action towards their goals. Chapter 22 of The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is titled, Use the Surrender Tactic, Transform Weakness into Power. The chapter emphasizes on the strategic use of surrender as a tool of power, especially in situations where there is no other option but to surrender. The chapter starts by stating that we should never underestimate the power of the surrender tactic, as it can be a powerful tool that can turn the tables in our favor. The surrender tactic can be used to gain time, to gain information, to lull the enemy into a false sense of security, or to gain a more favorable position. The chapter goes on to highlight a few examples of the surrender tactic in history, such as the example of the Chinese general Xiang Yu, who, in a moment of desperation, burned his own boats to signal to his troops that there was no turning back, and they had to fight for their lives. This move not only shocked and demoralized the enemy but also made Xiang Yu's troops fight with more determination, knowing that their only option was to win or die. The chapter also mentions the example of the Trojan horse, which was a clever use of the surrender tactic by the Greeks, as it allowed them to infiltrate and defeat the Trojans, who were otherwise considered unbeatable. The chapter then goes on to provide guidelines for using the surrender tactic effectively. It emphasizes the importance of timing, of making the surrender seem genuine, and of using it as a tool to create confusion and misdirection. The chapter also highlights the importance of having a fallback plan, should the surrender tactic fail. The chapter ends by warning readers against overusing the surrender tactic, as it can lead to a reputation of weakness and ineffectiveness. It advises readers to use the surrender tactic sparingly and strategically, as a tool to turn weakness into power, rather than as a tool of last resort. Chapter 23 of Outwitting the Devil is titled Hypnotic Rhythm and explores the idea that humans can become trapped in negative habits and thought patterns that lead them to mediocrity and failure. The author emphasizes the importance of breaking free from these patterns and creating new habits and rhythms that will lead to success and happiness. Hill introduces the concept of rhythm as the invisible force that governs our habits and behaviors, and explains how negative rhythms can be created through repetitive thoughts and actions that lead to failure and frustration. These negative rhythms become deeply ingrained in our subconscious minds, making them difficult to break. To break free from negative rhythms, Hill advises creating new positive rhythms that lead to success and happiness. This involves consciously choosing new thoughts and actions that will help you achieve your goals and aligning your daily activities with your long-term vision for your life. Hill also discusses the importance of avoiding negative influences, such as negative people, environments, and media, which can reinforce negative rhythms and keep you stuck in mediocrity. Ultimately, Hill emphasizes that breaking free from negative rhythms requires self-awareness, discipline, and a willingness to take action towards creating a better life. By consciously choosing positive rhythms and avoiding negative influences, you can break free from the hypnotic rhythm of failure and create a life of success and happiness. Chapter 24 of The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is titled Play the Perfect Courtier. The chapter focuses on the art of charming and flattering those in positions of power, and how to use these skills to gain influence and advance one's own interests. According to the author, the perfect courtier is one who is able to make others feel important, valued, and appreciated. They are skilled at flattery, using compliments and praise to win over those they seek to influence. The courtier must also be a good listener, paying attention to the needs and desires of those they seek to please. They should avoid being too opinionated or assertive, as this can be seen as threatening and turn people off. The chapter also discusses the importance of nonverbal cues, such as body language, in communication. The perfect courtier should be aware of their own body language and use it to convey confidence and sincerity. They should also pay attention to the body language of others, as this can provide clues about how they are feeling and what they want. In order to be successful as a courtier, the author suggests that one must be able to adapt to different social situations and personalities. They must be able to read the room and adjust their behavior accordingly. Additionally, the courtier must be willing to take risks, such as making bold statements or offering innovative ideas, in order to stand out and be remembered. Overall, the chapter emphasizes the importance of charm, flattery, and adaptability in gaining influence and advancing one's own interests. The perfect courtier is able to navigate social situations with ease, making others feel valued and appreciated while subtly advancing their own agenda. Chapter 25 of The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is titled Recreate Yourself. The chapter emphasizes the importance of constantly improving oneself, even to the point of creating a new identity or persona, in order to gain power and influence over others. Greene argues that people tend to be trapped by their past mistakes and identities, making it difficult for them to move forward and achieve success. In order to break free from this cycle, one must be willing to completely let go of their old identity and create a new one. This can involve changing one's appearance, personality, and even their name. Greene provides examples of historical figures who have successfully recreated themselves, such as Benjamin Franklin and Napoleon Bonaparte. Franklin transformed himself from a poor printer's apprentice into a successful businessman, writer, and politician. Bonaparte, born into a minor noble family, created the image of a powerful and charismatic leader through his military victories and political machinations. To successfully recreate oneself, Greene advises that one must first analyze their strengths and weaknesses, and then determine the type of persona that would be most effective in achieving their goals. This can involve studying the behavior and characteristics of successful people in one's desired field, and adopting those traits as part of one's new identity. However, Greene cautions that one must be careful not to overplay their new persona or come across as insincere or fake. The recreation should be done gradually and subtly, with the goal of becoming a more powerful and effective version of oneself, rather than a completely different person. In conclusion, the chapter emphasizes the importance of constantly evolving and recreating oneself in order to gain power and influence over others. It encourages readers to let go of their past mistakes and identities, and to embrace the idea of becoming a better and more effective version of themselves. Chapter 26 of The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is titled, Keep Your Hands Clean. The chapter discusses the importance of avoiding any association with shady or dishonest behavior. It emphasizes the need to protect one's reputation and avoid being implicated in any wrongdoing, even if it means sacrificing short-term gains. The chapter provides examples of historical figures who paid the price for not keeping their hands clean, such as Cardinal Richelieu, who was accused of numerous crimes and intrigues during his time in power. Conversely, it also discusses the success of people who maintained a reputation for honesty and integrity, such as the American President George Washington. The chapter highlights the dangers of associating with people of questionable character, as their actions may reflect poorly on one's own reputation. It also advises against committing immoral or illegal acts, even if they appear to offer a quick route to success, as such actions can ultimately lead to downfall. The chapter ends with the following quote, "It is a principle in warfare never to underestimate your enemy, neither should you ever underestimate the power of a reputation for integrity. Once sullied, it is hard to regain. The loss of it can mark the end of a career." Chapter 27 of The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is titled, Play on People's Need to Believe to Create a Cult-like Following. The chapter explains how to create a following by tapping into people's desire to believe in something greater than themselves. According to the author, people are naturally drawn to charismatic leaders who can give them a sense of purpose and direction. To create a cult-like following, a leader must first establish themselves as someone with extraordinary qualities, such as superior intelligence, talent, or divine inspiration. They should also present themselves as a visionary who can lead their followers to a better future. The leader should then focus on creating a tight-knit community around them. They should create rituals and traditions that reinforce the group's sense of identity and make their followers feel like they are part of something special. The leader should also encourage members to share their stories and experiences, which will deepen their commitment to the group and reinforce the leader's authority. Finally, the leader should create an enemy or an obstacle that the group must overcome. This enemy can be a real or imagined threat, but it should be something that reinforces the group's identity and purpose. By focusing on this common enemy, the group will become even more tightly knit and committed to the leader's cause. Overall, the chapter emphasizes the importance of creating a strong sense of community and purpose when trying to create a following. By tapping into people's desire to believe in something greater than themselves, a leader can create a loyal and dedicated group of followers who will be willing to follow them anywhere. However, the author also warns that this approach can be dangerous, and that leaders who use it must be careful not to become too controlling or abusive towards their followers. Chapter 28 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled, The Devil's Tool of Frustration. In this chapter, Hill explains how frustration can be used by the devil to keep people from achieving their goals and realizing their potential. He describes frustration as a tool that the devil uses to keep people from becoming successful and happy. Hill explains that the devil uses frustration to create negative emotions like anger, fear, and doubt, which can prevent people from taking action and pursuing their dreams. Hill goes on to describe different ways that frustration can manifest in people's lives, including in their relationships, career, and personal goals. He explains that people often become frustrated when they encounter obstacles or setbacks on the path to success, and that this frustration can lead to a sense of hopelessness and defeat. Hill offers several strategies for overcoming frustration and achieving success, including maintaining a positive attitude, persevering through obstacles, and developing a clear sense of purpose and direction. He also emphasizes the importance of having a strong support system, including friends, family, and mentors, who can offer encouragement and guidance during difficult times. Throughout the chapter, Hill emphasizes the importance of recognizing frustration as a tool that the devil uses to keep people from achieving their goals. That he encourages readers to remain focused on their goals and to remain determined in the face of setbacks and obstacles. By maintaining a positive attitude and persevering through frustration, Hill argues that people can overcome the devil's attempts to keep them from realizing their potential and achieving success. Chapter 29 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled, The Two Classes of Faith. In this chapter, Hill explores the concept of faith and its impact on one's success and happiness in life. He argues that there are two types of faith, temporary and permanent, and that each has a different effect on our lives. Temporary faith is based on our emotions and is subject to change. It is the type of faith that we often see in people who are highly emotional or easily influenced by others. This type of faith can be both positive and negative, and its effects are usually short-lived. Permanent faith, on the other hand, is based on our beliefs and values and is unwavering. It is the type of faith that is built on a solid foundation and is not easily shaken. People with permanent faith are often more successful and fulfilled in their lives because they have a clear sense of purpose and direction. Hill goes on to argue that we can cultivate permanent faith by developing a strong sense of self-discipline, focusing on our goals and values, and surrounding ourselves with like-minded individuals. He also emphasizes the importance of maintaining a positive mental attitude and avoiding negative influences that can undermine our faith and success. Overall, this chapter highlights the importance of faith in achieving our goals and living a fulfilling life. By cultivating permanent faith and avoiding the pitfalls of temporary faith, we can overcome obstacles and achieve our full potential. Chapter 30 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled The School of Adversity and explores the concept that adversity can be a valuable tool for personal growth and development. Hill argues that adversity can be seen as a form of mental and spiritual gymnastics that can help individuals build resilience, strength, and character. He uses the metaphor of a weightlifter who must lift increasingly heavy weights in order to grow stronger, and suggests that adversity can be thought of in a similar way. Hill also examines the idea that individuals who face adversity are often better equipped to handle future challenges and are more likely to succeed in life. He suggests that adversity can help individuals develop a never-give-up attitude, which is an essential trait for success. Hill cites several examples of successful individuals who faced significant adversity, including Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Andrew Carnegie. Additionally, Hill explores the idea that adversity can be an opportunity for individuals to develop their creative and problem-solving abilities. He suggests that adversity can force individuals to think outside the box and come up with new solutions to difficult problems. Overall, Hill argues that adversity can be a powerful force for personal growth and development. While it can be difficult to face at the time, he suggests that individuals who embrace adversity and use it as an opportunity to grow can ultimately achieve greater success and fulfillment in their lives. Chapter 31 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled The Devil's Last Stand. The chapter opens with the devil speaking to Hill, warning him that their agreement to reveal his tactics will soon come to an end. The devil is adamant that Hill's agreement to reveal his strategies and tactics will cause him to lose power and influence over people. The devil is also concerned that Hill's book will inspire people to resist his influence and take control of their own lives. Hill tells the devil that he is determined to fulfill his promise to reveal his tactics to the world, despite his threats. Hill then asks the devil what his final strategy is to retain power over people. The devil replies that his final strategy is to make people skeptical of the existence of God, and replace faith with reason and science. The devil claims that this tactic is his final and most potent weapon, as it will cause people to abandon their faith and allow him to influence their thoughts and actions. Hill counters the devil's argument by stating that faith and reason are not mutually exclusive, and that science and religion can work together to help people achieve their goals. Hill concludes the chapter by reminding readers that faith, hope, and courage are essential for overcoming obstacles and achieving success in life. Chapter 32 of Outwitting the Devil is titled Hypnotic Rhythm, and it continues the conversation between Napoleon Hill and the devil. In this chapter, the devil explains the power of rhythm and how it can be used to control people's thoughts and actions. The devil explains that all successful people understand and use the power of rhythm in their lives. Rhythm is the foundation of all progress and is the key to achieving any goal. The devil also explains that rhythm can be used to control people's thoughts and actions. The devil gives the example of a person who is easily influenced by music. When they hear a certain rhythm, they are compelled to move or dance. The devil explains that this same principle can be applied to thoughts and actions. By creating a hypnotic rhythm in a person's life, it is possible to control their thoughts and actions. The devil also explains that most people are not aware of the power of rhythm in their lives. They allow themselves to be controlled by outside influences and do not take control of their own thoughts and actions. By understanding and using the power of rhythm in their lives, people can take control and achieve their goals. Overall, this chapter highlights the importance of understanding the power of rhythm in our lives and how it can be used to achieve success or control others. In Chapter 33 of Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill discusses the concept of love, fear, and faith. He explains that fear is the opposite of faith and that fear is the root of most of the failures and challenges that people face in life. Hill argues that fear is self-created and can be overcome by faith, which is the opposite of fear. He explains that faith is not just belief but is a state of mind that is based on positive and constructive thoughts. Hill emphasizes that faith is not blind, and one must use reason and common sense to build and maintain faith. Hill also discusses the importance of love in life. He explains that love is an emotion that is based on the law of attraction and that people attract what they love. Hill argues that love is the most powerful emotion and that it can overcome fear and create miracles. He explains that love is not just an emotion but a state of mind that must be cultivated and developed. In the chapter, Hill also explores the concept of the subconscious mind and how it can be programmed with either fear or faith. He explains that the subconscious mind is like a garden, and one must plant positive and constructive thoughts to reap a good harvest. Hill emphasizes that fear and negative thoughts can destroy the garden of the subconscious mind and that it is essential to guard the mind against negative influences. Overall, Chapter 33 of Outwitting the Devil highlights the importance of faith, love, and positive thinking in achieving success and happiness in life. It emphasizes that fear is a self-created obstacle that can be overcome with the right mindset and that the subconscious mind plays a crucial role in shaping our thoughts and actions. Chapter 34 of Outwitting the Devil is titled Hypnotic Rhythm. This chapter explores the concept of rhythmic thinking, which the devil claims is a key tool used to control human beings. He explains that most people think in a habitual, repetitive manner, which he calls hypnotic rhythm. This habitual thinking allows the devil to manipulate people and keep them from reaching their full potential. The devil explains that he can control people by manipulating their emotions and causing them to think in a certain way. He uses fear, discouragement, and other negative emotions to keep people stuck in negative thought patterns. The devil also claims that he can influence people's thinking through external factors such as music, advertising, and other forms of media. He says that he can use these tools to create a hypnotic rhythm that lulls people into a state of submission and complacency. To break free from the devil's control, the author recommends that individuals develop their own positive rhythm of thought. He encourages readers to take control of their thoughts and emotions and to consciously choose to think positively. The author also suggests that individuals should surround themselves with positive influences and seek out uplifting experiences to counteract the negative influence of the devil's hypnotic rhythm. Chapter 35 of Outwitting the Devil is titled The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. In this chapter, Hill explores the concept of sex transmutation, which he describes as the ability to transfer the energy of sexual desire into other areas of life, such as creative endeavors, entrepreneurship, and achievement. Hill argues that sex is a powerful creative force that can be harnessed to drive success in all areas of life. He explains that when people become obsessed with sex and allow it to control their thoughts and actions, they lose their ability to think clearly and to focus on their goals. Hill also discusses the dangers of suppressing sexual desire, noting that doing so can lead to negative psychological and physical consequences. He encourages readers to embrace their sexuality and to learn how to use it in a positive, productive way. He also emphasizes the importance of self-control and discipline in order to avoid becoming a slave to sexual desire. Hill shares several success stories of individuals who were able to harness the power of sex transmutation to achieve their goals. He emphasizes that sex transmutation is not a new or novel idea, but rather a well-known technique that has been used throughout history by successful individuals. He encourages readers to embrace this concept and to develop the self-discipline and focus necessary to use it to their advantage. Chapter 36 of Outwitting the Devil is titled Hypnotic Rhythm and deals with the power of rhythm and habit to control a person's thoughts and actions. The devil explains to Hill that most people are easily controlled because they fall into a rhythm or habit pattern that makes them predictable and easy to manipulate. He explains that habits are like a groove in the brain, and once a habit is formed, it becomes almost automatic, requiring little thought or effort to carry out. The devil goes on to explain that he uses this hypnotic rhythm to control people's behavior, and that it is one of his most effective tools. He uses the example of a person who wakes up at the same time every day, eats the same breakfast, goes to the same job, and does the same things in the same order every day. This person is in a hypnotic rhythm, and is very easy to control because they are predictable and have little variation in their behavior. The devil warns Hill that people must be careful not to fall into these hypnotic rhythms, and must always be aware of their thoughts and actions. He advises Hill to develop the habit of thinking for himself, and not to follow the crowd or allow others to control his thoughts and actions. He also advises Hill to break up his routine and try new things in order to keep his mind active and alert. Overall, this chapter highlights the importance of being aware of one's habits and breaking out of hypnotic rhythms in order to avoid being controlled by others. Chapter 37 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled The Transition Point. In this chapter, the author talks about the point of transition from the School of Hard Knocks to the University of Life. He explains that most people who achieve success have to go through the School of Hard Knocks, which is a school where people learn through their mistakes and failures. However, at some point, these people must transition to the University of Life, where they learn from their successes and build upon them. Hill discusses how some people get stuck in the School of Hard Knocks and never make the transition to the University of Life. He attributes this to the fact that these people lack a definite purpose, and therefore lack the motivation to move forward. The author also describes how the transition from the School of Hard Knocks to the University of Life requires a shift in mindset. He explains that in the School of Hard Knocks, people tend to focus on their weaknesses and failures, while in the University of Life, people focus on their strengths and successes. Hill emphasizes that the key to making the transition is to have a definite purpose and to focus on building upon one's strengths. He also notes that it is important to surround oneself with positive influences and to avoid negative influences that can hinder one's progress. In summary, Chapter 37 of Outwitting the Devil discusses the importance of transitioning from the School of Hard Knocks to the University of Life. The author emphasizes the need for a definite purpose and a positive mindset in making this transition and achieving success. In Chapter 38 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, the devil discusses the concept of fear and its destructive impact on people's lives. According to the devil, fear is one of his most effective tools for controlling people's minds and preventing them from achieving their full potential. He argues that fear is often based on false assumptions and beliefs, and that people need to confront their fears directly in order to overcome them. The devil identifies several common fears that plague people, including the fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, and death. He argues that these fears are often irrational and exaggerated, and that they prevent people from taking risks and pursuing their dreams. He also notes that fear often leads to procrastination, which is another way that people sabotage their own success. To overcome fear, the devil suggests that people need to develop a strong sense of self-confidence and courage. He encourages people to take small, calculated risks and to focus on their goals rather than their fears. He also advises people to avoid negative influences, such as people who criticize and discourage them, and to surround themselves with positive and supportive people. Overall, the chapter highlights the importance of confronting and overcoming fear in order to achieve success and fulfillment in life. It encourages readers to develop a growth mindset and to focus on the possibilities and opportunities that lie ahead, rather than being held back by fear and self-doubt. Chapter 39 of Outwitting the Devil starts with Hill meeting the devil again and asks for his opinion on the most significant challenges that individuals face today. The devil tells him that one of the most significant challenges is the habit of drifting. The devil explains that when people do not have definite aims in life, they become susceptible to drifting. He says that drifting is a form of hypnotism, where an individual is under the influence of external forces. The devil explains that individuals can break free from the habit of drifting by having a definite purpose in life. He suggests that individuals should develop a clear plan for their lives, write it down, and follow it with discipline. The devil further explains that people should be persistent and consistent in pursuing their goals and should not allow themselves to be sidetracked by distractions and obstacles. The devil also highlights the importance of self-control and personal initiative in achieving success. He advises individuals to take control of their minds and emotions, develop self-discipline, and take the initiative to pursue their goals. He also stresses the importance of being proactive and taking responsibility for one's life, rather than blaming external circumstances or other people. In conclusion, the chapter emphasizes the importance of having a definite purpose in life and being disciplined and persistent in pursuing it. It also highlights the role of self-control, personal initiative, and responsibility in achieving success. Chapter 40 of Outwitting the Devil begins with Napoleon Hill explaining how humans have a great power within them, called the power of the ether, or the spiritual energy that exists beyond the physical realm. Hill goes on to state that individuals can tap into this power by developing a set of habits that are conducive to success and happiness. These habits include a positive mindset, clear goal setting, persistence, and discipline. Hill emphasizes the importance of maintaining a positive mental attitude, as this is what allows individuals to tap into the power of the ether. He states that negative thoughts and emotions can prevent individuals from accessing this power, while positive thoughts and emotions can help them harness it. Hill also stresses the importance of having a clear vision of one's goals and objectives, as this is what helps individuals stay focused and motivated. He encourages readers to create a clear, specific plan of action for achieving their goals, and to review this plan regularly in order to stay on track. Finally, Hill discusses the importance of persistence and discipline in achieving success. He notes that success often requires overcoming obstacles and setbacks, and that individuals must have the resilience and perseverance to push through these challenges. Overall, Chapter 40 emphasizes the importance of developing positive habits and attitudes in order to tap into the power of the ether and achieve success in life. Hill provides practical advice and guidance for developing these habits, and encourages readers to take action in order to achieve their goals and live fulfilling lives. In Chapter 41 of Outwitting the Devil, the author, Napoleon Hill, continues his interview with the devil. This chapter focuses on the importance of having a definite major purpose and a plan to achieve it. The devil emphasizes that most people lack this crucial element in their lives, which makes them easily susceptible to his influence. He describes how he preys on people's lack of direction and uses fear to keep them from taking action towards their goals. The devil also discusses the importance of persistence and the power of the subconscious mind. He explains how he is able to influence people's subconscious minds and plant negative thoughts and emotions, which can prevent them from achieving their goals. Hill then goes on to describe how individuals can use the same techniques to program their minds with positive thoughts and emotions, which can help them achieve their goals. Finally, the devil warns against the dangers of procrastination and indecision. He describes how these habits can lead to a lack of action, which can prevent individuals from achieving their goals. He encourages people to take action and make decisions quickly, rather than putting them off. Overall, this chapter highlights the importance of having a clear purpose and plan, and taking persistent action towards achieving it. It also emphasizes the power of the subconscious mind and the dangers of procrastination and indecision. Chapter 42 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled The School of Adversity. The chapter begins with Hill stating that it is through adversity that people gain the strength to succeed in life. He compares adversity to a whetstone that sharpens the blade of a knife. Hill argues that adversity is not only necessary, but it is also a blessing in disguise. Hill shares a conversation he had with the devil in which the devil explains how he uses adversity to control people. The devil explains that he uses adversity to manipulate people into thinking negatively and making them feel helpless. This negativity, in turn, creates a vicious cycle of self-doubt, fear, and despair that keeps people from realizing their full potential. The devil then explains that those who overcome adversity and learn from it become stronger and more resilient. Hill goes on to provide examples of successful people who overcame adversity, such as Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, and Abraham Lincoln, who faced numerous setbacks before becoming president. He also provides tips on how to overcome adversity, such as developing a positive mental attitude, setting clear goals, and taking action. The chapter concludes with Hill urging readers to embrace adversity and use it as a stepping stone to success. He argues that it is only through adversity that people can build character, gain wisdom, and achieve their goals. In Chapter 43 of Outwitting the Devil talks about one of his most effective tools for controlling people, fear. He explains that fear is a powerful emotion that can easily consume a person's thoughts and actions, leading them to make irrational decisions and live in a constant state of anxiety. The devil states that fear is often instilled in people from a young age through various means, such as religious teachings, parental warnings, and societal norms. He argues that these fears are often unfounded and serve only to limit a person's potential and keep them from taking risks and pursuing their dreams. The devil also discusses how fear is used as a means of control by those in positions of power, such as government officials and employers. By creating a culture of fear, these individuals can manipulate people into following their orders and behaving in a certain way. To overcome fear, the devil suggests that people must first recognize it for what it is and then actively work to confront it. He emphasizes the importance of taking calculated risks and not allowing fear to hold a person back from pursuing their goals and aspirations. Overall, Chapter 43 delves into the insidious nature of fear and how it can be used as a tool of control by those in power. The devil encourages readers to confront their fears and break free from the limitations they impose, ultimately empowering them to live more fulfilling lives. Chapter 44 of Outwitting the Devil is titled The Secret to Persistence. In this chapter, the author emphasizes the importance of persistence in achieving success in life. The author notes that while many people may have great ideas or dreams, most fail to achieve them because they lack the persistence and discipline required to see them through. The author defines persistence as the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. He argues that faith is a critical component of persistence, as one must believe in the eventual success of their efforts in order to persist in the face of challenges and setbacks. The author also discusses the importance of developing a definite plan for achieving one's goals and persisting in following that plan, despite any obstacles that may arise. He notes that successful people have a clear vision of what they want to achieve and are committed to seeing that vision through to completion. Finally, the author argues that persistence requires discipline and self-control, as one must often sacrifice short-term pleasures and distractions in order to stay focused on their long-term goals. He notes that successful people are willing to do what others are not in order to achieve their goals, and that this is the key to their success. Overall, this chapter emphasizes the importance of persistence, discipline, and faith in achieving success, and provides practical advice for developing these qualities in oneself. Chapter 45 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled Hypnotic Rhythm. This chapter begins with the author discussing the power of rhythm in our lives, both positive and negative. He explains that our habits and thoughts create a rhythm that shapes our lives, and that we can use this knowledge to deliberately shape our own rhythms in a positive way. The author then discusses the negative rhythms that can be found in society, such as poverty and crime, and how they are perpetuated by the people who engage in them. He argues that these negative rhythms can be broken by creating positive rhythms, and that anyone can do this if they have the will and determination to do so. Hill then goes on to discuss the power of suggestion and how it can be used to influence people's thoughts and behaviors. He explains that people can be influenced by suggestion, whether it is positive or negative, and that this influence can be used to shape their lives in a desired direction. He argues that people must be careful about the suggestions they accept and that they must consciously choose the suggestions that will help them achieve their goals. The author then discusses the concept of autosuggestion, which is the practice of repeating positive affirmations to oneself in order to change one's thoughts and behaviors. He explains that this practice can be used to create positive rhythms in one's life, and that it is a powerful tool for personal transformation. Hill concludes the chapter by emphasizing the importance of taking control of one's own thoughts and behaviors, and creating positive rhythms that will help one achieve their goals. He argues that anyone can do this if they have the desire and determination to do so, and that the key is to consciously choose the thoughts and behaviors that will lead to success and fulfillment. Chapter 46 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill continues the conversation between the author and the devil. In this chapter, the devil talks about the importance of sex in human life and how it can be used as a tool to manipulate people. The devil explains that sex is a natural human drive and that he uses it to control people's thoughts and actions. The devil claims that he has convinced people to engage in sexual activities outside of marriage, which has led to broken homes, unwanted pregnancies, and diseases. He also suggests that he has created a culture of sexual promiscuity, which has resulted in moral decay and societal problems. The author asks the devil how people can protect themselves from his influence, and the devil responds that people should practice self-control and discipline in all areas of their lives, including their sexual behavior. He also suggests that people should educate themselves about the harmful effects of sexual immorality and seek guidance from religious leaders. Overall, the chapter highlights the devil's role in manipulating people's sexual desires and behaviors to control their lives. It underscores the importance of self-control and discipline in resisting the devil's influence and making positive choices in one's life. Chapter 47 of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is titled The Secret of Death. In this chapter, the author interviews the devil and asks him about the concept of death. The devil argues that death is not a thing to be feared, but rather a natural part of life. He claims that people are too focused on avoiding death, and in doing so, they miss out on truly living their lives. The devil goes on to explain that life and death are simply two sides of the same coin, and that one cannot exist without the other. He argues that people should embrace the fact that death is inevitable, and use it as motivation to live their lives to the fullest. The devil asserts that those who live in fear of death are essentially already dead, because they are not truly living. The author pushes back on this argument, stating that death is still a frightening concept for many people. The devil responds by saying that this fear is a result of people's misunderstanding of death. He explains that death is not an end, but rather a transition to a different form of existence. He compares it to a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, or a seed germinating into a plant. Death, in his view, is simply the next stage of life. The chapter ends with the devil urging the author to embrace the inevitability of death and use it as motivation to live a purposeful life. The devil argues that those who are able to do this will find true success and fulfillment in their lives. Chapter 48 of Outwitting the Devil is titled Hypnotic Rhythm. In this chapter, the author, Napoleon Hill, explains the power of the hypnotic rhythm and how it can either work for or against us in achieving our goals. He defines hypnotic rhythm as a conditioned response that we have developed over time through our habits and beliefs. Hill describes how our thoughts, emotions, and actions create a rhythmic pattern that becomes embedded in our subconscious mind. This rhythm can either work for us by creating positive habits and beliefs that support our goals, or against us by reinforcing negative habits and beliefs that limit our success. The author emphasizes the importance of becoming aware of our hypnotic rhythm and taking control of it by consciously choosing the thoughts, emotions, and actions that support our goals. He explains that this requires discipline and consistent effort, but it is necessary if we want to break free from negative patterns and achieve our full potential. Hill provides practical advice on how to create a positive hypnotic rhythm, such as repeating affirmations, visualizing our desired outcome, and taking consistent action towards our goals. He also warns against the dangers of allowing negative influences, such as the media and toxic relationships, to influence our hypnotic rhythm and derail our progress. Overall, Chapter 48 emphasizes the importance of developing a positive hypnotic rhythm to achieve success and avoid the pitfalls of negative conditioning. It encourages readers to take control of their thoughts, emotions, and actions and make conscious choices that support their goals. Chapter 49 of Outwitting the Devil is titled The Devil's Workshop. In this chapter, the devil reveals that one of his greatest tools to control people is through their vices and bad habits. He explains that vices and bad habits can be developed through the power of suggestion, repetition, and association. He also states that the person who does not have control over their vices and bad habits is easily controlled by the devil. The devil explains that he can easily control people who are addicted to things like alcohol, drugs, gambling, and other vices. He also states that he can control people who are chronically negative, fearful, and doubtful. According to the devil, people who engage in these habits and behaviors are not only easier to control but are also less likely to achieve success and happiness in life. The devil's solution to breaking free from these bad habits is to practice self-discipline, positive thinking, and associating with positive people. He argues that by consciously choosing to break free from these habits and by surrounding oneself with positive influences, a person can gain control over their own mind and life. The devil also warns that breaking free from these habits is not an easy task, and that it requires a strong will and determination. Overall, this chapter serves as a warning about the power of vices and bad habits and how they can be used as tools for control by negative forces. It also provides insight into the importance of self-discipline, positive thinking, and association with positive people as ways to break free from these negative influences. In Chapter 50 of Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill concludes his conversation with the devil by asking him to reveal the most important secret to living a successful and fulfilling life. The devil responds by saying that the most important secret is to have a definite purpose and to pursue it with persistence, while maintaining a positive mental attitude. The devil goes on to say that most people lack a definite purpose and instead drift through life without direction or intention. He says that people are easily distracted and discouraged by setbacks, and that they often give up on their dreams and settle for mediocrity. The devil emphasizes that having a definite purpose requires a clear understanding of what one wants to achieve, and that it must be backed by a burning desire to achieve it. He also stresses the importance of taking action and persisting through obstacles and failures, even when it seems like success is impossible. Finally, the devil says that maintaining a positive mental attitude is crucial to achieving one's goals, and that people must guard against negative thoughts and emotions that can derail their progress. He advises that people should surround themselves with positive influences and develop a strong sense of faith and optimism. In conclusion, the devil's secret to success is to have a definite purpose, pursue it with persistence, and maintain a positive mental attitude. Hill emphasizes that this advice is not just a theory or a concept, but a proven formula for achieving success in all areas of life. In Chapter 51 of Outwitting the Devil, titled Intelligence versus Education, Napoleon Hill reflects on the difference between intelligence and education. He argues that education does not necessarily lead to intelligence, and that many highly educated people are not very intelligent. He defines intelligence as the ability to solve problems and make sound decisions, while education is the accumulation of knowledge through reading, listening, and studying. Hill believes that education can be a hindrance to intelligence if it is not applied correctly. He notes that education can create limiting beliefs and prevent people from thinking creatively and independently. On the other hand, he argues that intelligence can be developed by challenging oneself to solve problems and make decisions, regardless of one's level of formal education. Hill also emphasizes the importance of self-directed learning and the development of a strong personal philosophy. He believes that people should be open-minded and willing to learn from both positive and negative experiences. He emphasizes the importance of taking action and learning from mistakes, rather than simply accumulating knowledge without putting it into practice. Overall, Hill suggests that a combination of education and intelligence is necessary for success in life, and that individuals should strive to develop both. He encourages readers to think critically and independently, and to actively seek out experiences that will challenge them to grow intellectually and personally.
If this video was helpful to you, please hit the like button and subscribe for more similar content. I'm always looking for ways to improve. Your comments and opinions are important to me, so please leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts on this video.